Is it recording on your end?
So, this meeting is being recorded.
Okay. You've accepted it's recording?
Of course. We need
Okay.
to keep a historical record of our activities. Huh?
All right. Friends, sisters, and brothers of Ambazonia, welcome to the very first episode of the Peaceful Permanent Solution Show. I'm Marcel Jaff. I live in Durham, North Carolina. By day, I help build systems in IT. By heart, I'm a health and wellness lover. And like you out there, I'm just an ordinary Ambazonian who cares deeply about our people and our future. Now, I will not pretend I carry a long list of revolutionary titles. I don't have any. I am what we fondly called a Johnny Just Come, a JJC. I remember some few years ago, one of our leaders said that he was not willing to queue behind anybody, right? He said that those who are JJCs should queue behind him. So I'm one of those JJCs. So I've rolled up my sleeves during my time at Bui County. I helped feed refugees in Nigeria, supported IDPs in La République du Cameroon. You'd hear more about that with time as you get to know me. Now, while I was doing this small acts taught me something big. Love for our homeland is not measured by trophies on a wall, but by what we do when we see people suffer. Tonight, we gather at a crossroads. 9 long years have tested our courage, our patience, and our unity. Choices have consequences. Silence has cost. The time for describing the problem has passed. The time for choosing a path forward is upon us. That is why we have started this show, to lift up a path rooted in peace, dignity, and permanence. A path that asks us to choose not only what we oppose, but what we stand for. A path that says we can be bold, lawful, principled, persuasive, relentless, and humane. I found a solution that makes sense to me. The Peaceful Permanent Solution, PPS. And I'm grateful. Grateful not because I alone understand it, but because tonight we have with us someone who has lived these choices, who has crafted strategy across decades, who knows how to turn ideas into action. So I won't be the one explaining every detail. My role is to listen, to learn, ask questions, and to help put this conversation where it must be, in the hands of people who can carry it forward with wisdom and experience, you out there. Now, permit me to introduce my guest of honor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in the Amazonian struggle, welcome once again to the Peaceful Permanent Solution Show, the platform where we bring light, truth, and wisdom to the conversation about our people's journey towards self-determination and peace. Today, it is both an honor and a privilege to introduce a man whose political life reads like the living history of the Ambazonian movement itself. A man of vision, conviction, and unshakable commitment, Mr. Edwin Gang. For over 4 decades, Mr. Gang has been at the forefront of Ambazonia's recognition quest, helping shape, refine, and define the very constitutionality of our cause. He currently serves as Senior Presidential Advisor of the Republic of Ambazonia on diplomatic missions. Otherwise, he prefers his natural service role as community organizer of the Ambazonia recognition quest. That's why he's a community organizer of Aspire. What does Aspire mean? Aspire means Ambazonians who aspire to secure and protect the integrity of our revolution. He's one of the key members of the Ambazonia Recognition Collaborative Council, ARCC, the entity that secured on January 21st, 2017, the legislative mandate template of our recognition quest, aka as the SCACUF Secretariat. He is currently the coordinator of DATIP. DATIP means Dynamic Alliance to Implement PPS. The latest entity created this last September 3rd, 2025, by the Tripartite Alliance of AFA, African Freedom Advocacy. AMHEC, Ambas Bay Heritage Economic and Cultural Center, and Aspire itself. But let's trace some of the community organizing elements of his incredible recognition quest journey. In 1983, do you know where I was in 1983? If you're watching me now, in 1983, I was a child in government nursery school, Tobin, in Kumbo. That is how long Mr. Edwin Ngang has been working on this. So let's get back to his story. I just wanted to say this so some of you can relate how long he's been fighting. In 1983, as a young student, Edwin Ngang organized the famous anti-GC harmonization strike, a bold, coordinated stand that achieved nearly 100% success across the Northwest Province. That moment marked the birth of a lifelong mission, standing against injustice and defending the identity of the English-speaking people of Southern Cameroons. By the early 1990s, as secretary of the Cameroon Federalist Committee and later chairman of the Southern Cameroon's Restoration Movement, SOCREMO, he helped establish first contact with the UNPO and laid the foundation for what would later become the SCNC, which we all know as what? The Southern Cameroon's National Council, right? The force of argument, not the argument of force, for many of you who are familiar with their motto. Through the mid-1990s and 2000s, Mr. Ngang's diplomatic and advocacy work reached the highest international levels. As Delegate General of the Republic of Ambazonia in North America, we are here in North America, and Special Assistant to the Head of State, he helped coordinate Republic of Ambazonia's Republic of Ambazonia's interventions during the Bakassi ICG proceedings. Engaged with the US Congress in Washington, D.C., the State Department, and global institutions such as the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace and the Principality of Liechtenstein, all in defense of Ambazonia's right to self-determination. From the Adamstown Understanding of 2001 to the creation of ALEAC and AJET4, frameworks of legal and judgment enforcement, to the Ambazonian Sovereignty Festival of 2009, Mr. Ngang has remained a steady hand, guiding the movement towards legitimacy, unity, and peaceful resolution. Now, in recent years, what has he been up to? He has been instrumental in the formation of critical structures such as ALIM in 2013, APERM in 2016, AMSORS in 2018, Aspire in 2022, and DATIP 2025, each designed to bring coherence and unity to our divided recognition quest's front. You all know how divided our recognition quest is. He's been working to overcome that. Some of his more recent efforts, including participation at peace workshops in Brussels 2019, Cambodia 2023, Hudson Institute in Washington, D.C. 2023, diplomatic outreach across Africa and here in the USA. are evidence of collaboration and other outreaching efforts, demonstrating his unwavering belief in what he calls the peaceful permanent solution. Very important. Anchored on the principle of an exclusive, this is very important, an exclusive binary choice, not multiple choice, an exclusive binary choice. You hear more about him when he will emphasize this. So an exclusive binary choice referendum on as the surest path to the peaceful permanent solution. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just welcome a political leader. We welcome a thinker, a strategist, a historian of the Ambazonian struggle, and a man who has lived its every chapter with integrity and vision. Please join me as we honor and engage with Mr. Edwin Ngang, Senior Presidential Advisor of the Republic of Ambazonia, community organizer of APERM, and coordinator of the Aspire project, a man devoted to ensuring that our struggle remains not just loud, but lawful, not just forceful, but peaceful, and above all, permanent. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Edwin Gang to the Peaceful Permanent Solution Show. Mr. Edwin, you have the floor.
Wow, thank you, my friend and dear comrade Marcel Jaff, for bringing me to a show, the Peaceful Permanent Solution Show. I want the audience to recognize that the narration of my life history doesn't have anything to do with any preemption of anyone thinking that somebody is out there making himself to become the leader. No, it is just my humble beginnings, my natural predisposition to be allergic to injustice, and my desire to see freedom and peace reign for the people that I grow up to recognize as my people who deserve to have their own sovereign state as the basis, as the primary basis of subsistence in our modern world we know. Oh, now that we have the show called the Peaceful Permanent Solution Show, I will just have to say that why we need to be concerned about our current recognition quest is because it has veered off its course. It has gone off the natural template it should have taken. At any time, any change agent, such as me, such as you out there listening, if you desire to solve a problem of recolonization, a problem of subjugation, some people like to call it problem of marginalization and the rest. But if you are observer of this society and you come in at any time, you can throw a dart in the wall. Whether it's 2017, like the famous 2017 change process that went off the course, or it's 2025, where some people are now folding their hands and praying all kinds of prayers that Issa Chiruma should be inaugurated president so that their solution should come. Whatever you have, you should know that we in this sub-region, we, and by we, I'm defining a people, a constitutionally recognized and historically traceable people. There's nothing political in what you'll be hearing in the Peaceful Permanent Solution Show. We, the people who used to be formerly known as the United Nations Trust Territory of the Southern Cameroons under United Kingdom administration, by virtue of United Nations Article 76B, are entitled to what? To self-government and independence. Note that, mark that and keep it. You're only, you as the listener, you should always ask yourself this question. To what extent am I, as a people, with these defined territories, known internationally, then in 1945 as that trust territory, and today as Ambazonia, self-government and independence. Do not, and please, do not accept any other explanation. If somebody, as me, who is a politician, comes out and start equivocating that, well, let's figure out how we can go dialogue and negotiate with Cameroon and see how we can get some special status. And maybe after we get devolution, we see how we can wait for some couple of years for some multiple choice referendum. You have that, you should know that person is not serving your interest, and aka you are not going to eventually get self-government or independence. So that's the reason why the peaceful permanent solution will be for you, whenever you hear that, the expression of the truth, the expression of your rights, and the expressions of your identity. Not those three attributes. They are the key pins of your survival in this hostile Midwest African sub-region, where we happen to find ourselves with a neighboring state, which itself used to be a United Nations Trust Territory, known as United Nations Trust Territory of the French Cameroon under United Kingdom administration. Of course, they are the folks who lied to us that we were going to form a union in 1961, and we know what the history is. So I'm just here as that agent of change. Consider me as someone who happened to, maybe because of my training, because of my natural predisposition to certain situations in my life, as in 1969, when I witnessed the last vestige of Maquisard War in Chang, when my father was district officer in Fontaine, and we used to pass through Chang, Bangante, and Bafusam to Bamenda, and I saw the last elements of the Maquisard War, and I was wondering, why on earth are we doing with these people? And I could not have an answer as a 9-year-old boy. And now, as a 65-year-old man, I'm here to tell you that, please, you won't find a politician in me. I am just begging you to understand that what we have here is a message, not of hope, but of real information that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light is really eminent now. As long as you are assured that you know who you are and that you are not going to subsist as a subjugated, recolonized, English-speaking person, perpetually marginalized in a country called Cameroon, please board the freedom train of the peaceful permanent solution agenda, which the Dynamic Alliance has already engaged. And wherever you are in the world, be confident. You don't need to have facts. Just be confident that you have now joined the universe that started in Ground Zero in September 22nd, which is where I derive my mandate that Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. You won't find any information from the Dynamic Alliance to implement the peaceful permanent solution that we have let that Ambazonian balloon drop. No, you will find instead information that will define Cameroon as a separate country, one and indivisible, which ought to find its own managed ways to implement democracy 101, which they're having difficulty, and will continue to have difficulty installing democracy 101 until the day the indigenous English-speaking people of Republic of Ambazonia becomes the sovereign state. So those who are now thinking that democracy model will be a solution just haven't understood that the reason why Cameroon is allergic and will remain allergic to democracy is because of the element of freedom that is the function of democracy. If they allow democracy principles to grow in a country called Cameroon, so goes Ambazonia. Do you think they are stupid? No, they will never do that. So those people relying on this model, you can rest assured they have lost it. They are just playing to the politics of whatever. Please stick on the peaceful permanent solution agenda, because it is the agenda that is going to bring peace in the entire sub-region, which will help Republic of Cameroon finally be able to install their democracy, whereas we have also restored our own sovereignty and move forward. European Union exists as confederation of states, but nobody goes to Belgium, to Holland, to Switzerland, Germany, and encroach on their internal affairs, but they do have mutual correspondence, interactions in energy matters, in defense matters, in trade matters. That is what confederation of, of sovereign state means. And that can only be achieved at a higher level. Confederacy is a higher expression of democracy. What we were doing in 1961 was horrible. We have not even established democracy. We went to establish confederation. And that is why we fell victim to annexation. What happened in 1961 was pure annexation, simple. Let's accept the fact that our leaders did not know what they were doing, but let's also be humble to say that what have we done otherwise with the knowledge that we have acquired? With the knowledge that we have acquired, we should say, oops, now that our leaders failed to recognize that they had a country that was annexed, we know that the only way we can get our country back is to get a universe of political power, which is what the peaceful permanent solution will develop into, so that countries who are available to help us will finally accept that, oh, finally, these people have matured. They're no longer the confused Ambazonians, English-speaking people, or Anglophones. They will say that, oh, finally, these people can stand their grounds to defend what is their entitlement rights as per Article 76B. Not those facts. It is because we have never had that leadership that we have found ourselves where we are today.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. We'll get into all of what you mentioned there. So let's start assuming that you are that woman in Shizong who is out there selling pears, selling oranges on the street. You are that man in Kwakwa. You are down in Kumba, an ordinary man on the street who has no idea what PPS is about. You are in Akko, you are in Messager. You just heard something called, it sounds really good. It has a word there that people cannot resist, right? Who doesn't want peaceful? Sounds really good. So define it for somebody who doesn't understand this, who is not an academic, just an ordinary person. What is the peaceful permanent solution?
It is because the peaceful permanent solution is based on the fact that the person in Kumba who had gone on the street on September 22nd and said Ambazonian reason to fall no more, was relying on his or on her political representative to do the right thing. It is a recognition of our rights organically. And these are rights that are inherited from our history. We have never had that expressed in our political culture. We know those rights have been always bungled and fumbled by the politicians. So if a person ordinarily could have presented the handle to these politicians as late as 2017, September 22nd, or you can also attach the Coffin Revolution of November 22nd, 2016. Whereas the same politicians who they have delegated that matter of their lives has gone and bungled that idea of Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. It goes now that this is a question to be answered by two ways. You who think that you have political representatives, you should start revising that idea. Do we really believe that anybody who goes out there and claims to be a political representative is serving your best interests? I don't think so. It happened in 1950s. It's happening today. Ambazonians are the most unfortunate set of people who believe in the goodness of man so much that they think consensus politics works in the creation of states. It does not. Pure and simple. There is no debate about sovereignty. It's one variable, one. You're either a sovereign state or you are not. So if you think Ambazonian rising to fall no more can be translated as going to debate at Swiss, Zealand, or at Canada for multiple choice referendum options, which has been, they have clearly told us it was going to be special status. And somebody came in 2023 promoting devolution, and we later heard in 2024 autonomy. You've been hearing these stupid words, and then somebody even came because of where we went at the Hudson Institute. You never get to hear this stuff. But if that person in Kumbo or in Kumbo knows that their political leaders sat at the Hudson Institute on April 24th, and the Hudson Institute, a reputable think tank in Washington, D.C., told us a very disorganized revolution that if we were to adopt the referendum strategy they were going to adopt us, if we were to be unified by that strategy, they will adopt our cause. And that same thing was applied by the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies in Cambodia and the Rupert Institute of Peace. If those people know the truth, they will not be calling those people their leaders. Why? Because they have not put into practice what the people want. The people went on the streets on November 22nd at the Coffin Revolution. What was the demonstration by? They were demonstrating against this over 60 years of subjugation. That's how you, the political leaders, should translate it. Even though they say there was no roads, there were no prime minister here, you've been doing this, teachers were complaining about marginalization. All those things are the symptoms. What is the cause? Okay, we have to go beyond this simplistic politics that has been our bane since 1950. You ask a valid question, but that question can only be answered in the direction of what is the relationship between a representative of a people's polity and the people's need. If the people delegate authority to its politicians, do the politicians owe it as their duty to serve their people's best interest? Yes or no? The answer has to be yes. And if it's yes, does that have to become a political gainmanship as we have seen throughout our history? No. So where does the politics come in our polity? The politics come because we have always had politicians who have never understood that before you make the politics of what they call consensus, before you come in with 30% and I come in with 70%, which is traditional and recognized in all democracy, you must first secure what? The sovereign state. The question, do we have a sovereign state? Do we have a sovereign state that we could go and be playing the dynamics of quid pro quo politics? You see, the budget cycle of every legislative body in the world is quid pro quo politics. It's the politics of consensus. People don't know that. Politicians go in and they will yield for these next 5 years, I will yield to your building of that bridge to nowhere, as long as the next 5 years you yield to my building of my dam to nowhere. That is how the world works. But those consensus are functioning within the confines of the sovereign state, which has already been established. But we in our own, this universe called the Ambazonian recognition quest, we don't have that sovereignty. So your question is as valid as how do you answer it when you have a duty to represent that person who was shouting on the streets on September 27 that Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. Whereas they did not know that 3 months ago, in July 8th, at the third conclave in Lagos, the same politicians that they referred castigated all the sovereignty resolutions that were adopted to enhance their own Ambazonia that they had reason to fall no more. Totally it down in favor of what? In favor of governments, which was not sovereign state. So I will only answer this question by appealing to the goodness of that person who went on the streets and shouted, Ambazonia has risen for more to know that you are dealing with the peaceful permanent solution strategy that subscribes to the sovereignty of that your Ambazonia, which you said has risen to fall no more. The rest of the Ambazonian that you are hearing, which some of the politicians will be hard-pressed to use the word Republic of Ambazonia, do not represent you. So we will have to make a decision. Do you want business as usual, where politics has gone ahead, both the realities of our people's need in this sub-region, which is just telling the truth that will set them free? Or do we want to reverse and come back to the basis of how we should have addressed this issue peacefully, which is using the facts, permanently, which is associating those facts with our relationship with our agents of change, which include state and non-state actors, because we can't do this ourselves. We must include foreign friends who are aware of our plight, and the solution has always to be what we say, not that we go there blindly as we have done recently. And I will cite two events where we went there without any idea what was to be put out. In the Switzerland, they call it the Swiss cheese and the Canadian bacon, where people congregated there who never talk to each other, who are disorganized and promoting governments. And when they're not knowing that, the United Nations Security Council on November 2019, like clockwork, all adopted the special status from the Grand Depart. People have not been following it, but we follow those things. It is my duty to follow these things. So if the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, and everybody keeps talking about the territorial integrity of La République du Cameroon as a preamble before calling you for dialogue and negotiation, just are you going to dialogue and negotiate? That's going to be an outcome that will be the one that people on ground zero on September 22nd said will be pro-Ambazonia. Not be. So what the peaceful permanent solution needed to be how we leapfrog over this confusion. By the way, understand that it is a unique strategy in any system when you encounter permanent obstacle to pursuing your objective, and that obstacle mimics and pretends to be you. You do not need to be catering to it. You do not need to be waiting for it to join you. You just need to bypass it or leapfrog it. The peaceful permanent solution is the best way for us to leapfrog over the current confusion caused by politicians who do not have your best interest. The evidence is there. I'm not saying it. You can go from 2017 and figure out whether their evidence was consistent with ground zero's best wishes that Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. And if you can see that, you can come to our show next and show us, but I will tell you, you will never find it. Besides the fact that there are videos, information, and certain information that you never know that these people really went against your best interest. They're hiding it from you. But let's just stay on the fact that why we are stating peaceful permanent solution today is because of where we, if we allow the current processes keep moving where they are moving, post-Chiroma, post-election chaos happens in Cameroon, the international community will now default to what they consider as how to preserve their interest in what they call hegemonic powers. They're not going to be bothered about the Anglophones who have spent 8 years fighting among themselves. Please, please, it's very important that we use this opportunity to unite the Ambazonian revolution. What is the Ambazonian revolution, for some of you will be asking? If you wake up at any time, you were born at any time, whether it was 1960 like myself, or 1990 or like others, or 2010, please, the Ambazonian revolution is the idea that a people are entitled to rights that are inalienable, as sanctioned by Article 76B. That's all. That has to be yours. Because if not, then you best certainly do not understand how the world works. Because the world does not work at tribal levels anymore. Neither does it work at, you could call it level of clannish. The world works only by sovereign states. We ought to be rushing to align with the elements of power in our current world, contemporary world processes. So, and then you will ask the question, what does the Ambazonian recognition quest entail of you? You should know that. It is the absolute expression of what that Article 76B, which gave you your rights to self-government, has to be actualized by you anytime as a change agent. So if you are a change agent and you come and you are advocating for something which has nothing to do with the sovereign state, you should question that person. You should actually question, is that person very truly knows what it is? If he doesn't know, he needs to do research. You know what happened is because facts exist in our history, some of us do not know them. It has to be discovered. What are some of those facts? And this is why the peaceful permanent solution has no political string attached to it. It's just the reality of how we came to be in this very, very horrible sub-region with a neighbor who just don't want us to subsist as free and independent people. He wants us to remain recolonized and be serving his best interest, but he deceived us. He will come and flatter us like what Chirona did in Bamenda and stating that he did not know. And we are laughing and believing that he did not know. And we're willing to hold our ground and wait for him to come and quote unquote dialogue and negotiate. Meanwhile, the primary reason of why we became part of Cameroon has never changed. It only happened because they knew and knows that we have no leadership that expresses our best interests. Right from day one, 1952, they knew it. They infiltrated our polity with some entity called Cameroon Society. And that Cameroon Society pretended to form all the political parties, because at that time they had a rich guy in Douala called Sokopizo. He financed the entire Southern Cameroon political party. Then they took out and discovered that they could recruit person and play politics of what they call ethnicity. So they played KNDP against KNC, and they did this until the British administrating authorities recognized that we had no clue what was our entitlement by 1955, even after the principles guiding trusteeship domination had been spelled out. Those of you out there, please, I beg you, understand this. It's very important for the peaceful permanent solution. That's why I'm putting it out. The peaceful permanent solution has no politics. That's why I have to say. In 1955, the United Nations that gave you your entitlement, in order to enhance, make sure that works for your people, said you could get independence in three ways. You could either just sit you and get your direct independence, but you could form an association with an independent state, or you could integrate with another independent state. Some of you will be asking, why did that have to be? It came as a result of the geopolitics of the times. You know, Cold War politics came in, Pan-Africanism was also churning, and some people felt that the boundary lines on some of those African states had been cut and tribes needed to be brought back. So somebody came with a bright idea that, well, if you could form an association or could integrate. What was the choice our leaders made? Foncha, Enele, accidentally, it's not like they intentionally, they accidentally choose integration. And the reason is because they operated clueless of the sovereignty. There's no evidence that any of the parties knew that we were entitled to independence. I have to bring this out so that you understand why the peaceful permanent solution must be our agenda moving forward, because Cameroon is claiming one indivisible, because we have not explained to the world how we came to have our association with them. So if Foncha and the Indele were all expressing their differences, fighting for independence, and not knowing that sovereignty has to be actualized. And they finally stumbled on integration with Cameroon. And how was that expressed? It was expressed by the plebiscite, that resolution 1352 that we all talk about. It was to join Nigeria as a region or to join Cameroon as, guess what? Confederation, not a federation. Whenever people talk about federation, if you hear any politician say federation, know that that politician is a pro-Cameroonian type politician. Because the constitution of Federal Republic of Cameroon on October 1, 1961 was not a federation constitution. There was nothing there that was federation. I don't know why we have to be the one that is exempted from the rules of nature and of man. You cannot have the president of one of the states appointing the prime minister of both states, and you call that a federation. You cannot have Article 39, Article 47 violated, and Article 56, and we call that a federation. By the way, why this is important is simple because I give this because the only way we have any degree of coming to realizing that if we want to get to solving our today's problem, which was on Monday, when Cameroon changes its gear into becoming a totality of not a failed state, but a state moving into chaotic. We don't want it there, but pray it doesn't get there. But here is why we need to be very, very clear that we cannot just drift along their tails. Please, please, I beg you, my country people. You have to remain steadfast with what we are. We are not Cameroonians. We have never been Cameroonians from day one. And to the extent that we have some of our politicians begging for solution in Cameroon that allows Cameroon one indivisible construct to be promoted, disallow our friends who know the true story from helping us. If whatever happens on Monday, whether it's for or against whoever is elected, should not concern the Ambazonian revolution. The reason is because the preliminary assumption requirement test always stated the facts. Cameroon will never be a democratic country that serves the best interest of the English-speaking people called Anglophone as long as Ambazonia is part of their country. So what are you thinking? So that is why we need to rush ahead, leapfrog, wherever you are, whether as the individual or whether as a group, you endorse the entity that is promoting the peaceful permanent solution is called the Dynamic Alliance. And the reason why we call it Dynamic Alliance is because we are praying and hoping that you listening will see it that it is your time for you to now endorse this peaceful permanent solution. Do it publicly and join that dynamic alliance, which keeps growing. This does not take any other effort but just joining. Countries are there waiting for this dynamic alliance to continue growing so that they can reach a comfortable threshold where they can either recognize their sovereignty as constitutionally originated and legally validated as Republic of Ambazonia, or they can call for that exit equivalence to Brexit binary choice exclusive referendum. We'll talk about that subsequently, why it's important to have it exclusive and why we have it binary. But not that this is an appeal for you to not delegate matters of life and death, aka the peaceful permanent solution is not political, it's a movement. It's that similar to the Ambazonian Rising to Fall No More, which was a movement. It's similar to the Coffin Revolution, which was a movement. So nobody has no right to come and tell you that because they have PhDs or because they've been in this thing for 40 years like I have, they have any rights over you. No, I'm just a community organizer trying to get you to understand that this request for promoting our best optimized option has been on the table since 1990. So Better late than never. So we cannot wait until chaos has happened in Cameroon and we will be on the receiving end of all chaos before we start thinking about a solution, which may not happen at that time because we'll be having terrible things happening to our people. We should start now. Promote the peaceful permanent solution as the total strategy that will deliver freedom, peace to our people, and we project that it will also percolate to the French-speaking Cameroon who really truly deserve peace in their country. We do not hate them. We just want them to leave us alone and attend to their democracy problem. We would address us as we know we should, but we cannot be held to continue this servitude in perpetuity because we came in honesty to be the sample poster child of Pan-Africanism, albeit erroneously in 1959, in 1960, but that experiment has failed. To be honest, we should go out there and the peaceful solution to say the Cameroon bilingual experiment, we tried it, it has failed. Let the guys in United Kingdom please give us an attempt to go and have a relationship with France and see if it can work. And then if it works, then we'll try it again. But nobody in Canada, nobody in London, nobody in Paris should come and tell us to go dialogue and negotiate.
Okay. On that note, I think you've really given a very detailed answer there. I'm sure maybe you already answered some of the questions we're supposed to get into, but I'm just like in brief. I know you've said quite a lot and you've talked about it having to do with delegating the right, delegating, let me call it, their rights to representatives. And you're saying that Ambazonia doesn't have representation. It almost sounds as if the person on the ground has no role to play. So what I'm just asking is, in a very simple way, if you were to explain to someone who is not very educated and doesn't know all these details you're saying, and maybe doesn't even care, what is a simple bumper sticker way that you can explain to somebody, an ordinary Ambazonian on the street of Kwakwa, like, this is what the peaceful permanent solution means? What can you say? What is that little short, simple bumper sticker way to explain the peaceful permanent solution? Yes, I know you've given a very good answer here that a lot of people, especially those in the West, will have a lot to chew on there. So what would be a simple takeaway for what the peaceful permanent solution is about?
Okay, we can even say in Pidgin, na referendum be bring we here, na plebiscite be bring we for here, and referendum will take we back. Our people will always have to come to terms with the complexity of international relationship, geopolitics, which their representative ought to represent on their behalf. So if they want independence, and I know they have done it and delegated both legislative, I call it, and judicial mandate to the people. If they sit back and are expecting that the current change process will deliver them freedom, this is why they are now waiting like the drowning man. They are now like the drowning person clutching to the serpent, which is I've been leading the teams all over in the web in the WhatsApp forum and all the social media, and people have. You cannot keep people in a perpetual state of misery from 2017 with no solution. So the question is, did the people who said they were going to fight a war, did they come up with the strategy, the right strategy? Did the Ambazonian people back at home think it was going to work? Unfortunately, I don't think they even considered that the right strategy, but they couldn't say it because they were afraid of their lives. A few AKs here, a few granules there, and IEDs there, does that suffice to kick out a recalcitrant, totalitarian Republic of Cameroon from Ambazonia? What were you thinking?
I think, not to interrupt you there, but I think you're wanting to talk about what is wrong. You're answering the question of what is wrong with the current revolution, or maybe what is wrong with the leaders. What I'm asking is, what is a simple way that you can explain to somebody that this is what the peaceful permanent solution is? What I gathered from listening to you is that it sounds as if the peaceful permanent solution is the opposite of the plebiscite. So if a plebiscite got you to where you are right now, the peaceful permanent solution is the analogy or analogous, or is the opposite of that. It's what is going to take you out of that. Through an exclusive binary referendum. Exclusive. That means the Republic of Cameroon is not involved, because the Republic of Cameroon was not involved in getting you into this. So in short, a way, it's almost as if saying, if you got into a house through the door, you're not going to try to get out through the window. You're going to go back out the same door you came in through. I don't know what to. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible for our viewers, because I don't want to turn this into academic. I want to keep this very simple.
Yes.
So what do you say? What is the PPS? I want to get something simple for somebody that is uneducated. If you want to say it in pidgin, go ahead. What is PPS? PPS now wait.
It is how we will
permanent solution. What will be peaceful permanent solution?
Now how we will get recognition. PPS now how we will go secure recognition from another country, which is one of the requirements of how we must get independence. Okay, and the leaders, the way they never this trouble. If you don't know, say you forget independence, you must secure recognition. Then they're not supposed to be leaders. Now, one thing that now the thing that way, Ambazonians, where they out there, where they delegate their matter of life and death for the leaders, they always be, unfortunately, quote unquote, not properly served. So the PPS now say you will get independence clearly by easily getting recognition from a foreign government, because we don't secure the law. The law, therefore, side, the PPS get the law. The PPS get the psychology of the oppression of the Ambazonian revolution, the psychology and the part of the battle where you win and for your mind. You know what, if I where you never even win that battle for your mind, you still call yourself Southern Cameroonian. You still get you still support democracy change, which is not will ever lead you to independence. And don't really assume say those things they not will work. And if you only believe in the fact say you get your country and your country not be ever be part of Cameroon from day one, then you will get to come back to their basic properties of how you be supposed to be on for 1960. And we talk the one because most people they think say this thing get to be adjusted to time. No, you cannot get this. You cannot solve our problem by making convenient adjustment to politics. It just will not work, because that period between 1960 to today, it don't be pro-Cameroon contaminated. We get leaders the way that the Waka go represent, misrepresented you, me every day. We don't know how many Ambazonian leaders will go for France, for London, even for Washington, D.C., they talk on your behalf. They can't. But with PPS now, strategy way will make you jump ahead above these leaders, whether Cameroon send them or now we own confused leaders where they're there for one side, it no matter. But you, the ordinary civilian, where you get out there, where you always talk, say, my leaders, them. We don't talk, say, that nonsense. No, say any more leaders. You, at that level, where you did, and do one be obviously now for people then where you wait there for ground zero, call your people then for diaspora. We no one for exposed now anymore. When I don't suffer too much. When I don't give you the mandate for ground zero for cover revolution and Ambazonia Center for no more, there's nothing you need to do anymore. Just call those people then for diaspora. Tell them, say, may they endorse the peaceful permanent solution and publicly join them at the level of the individual and the groups. Now, all that you get to do, because now the doctrine way it will define Cameroon at the same time. It bring the solution. We get the law on our side. The psychology of fighting Cameroon is supposed to happen for our mind, but will not be doing fine. We'll not fight Cameroon as Cameroonians, which is what we are doing now. PPS simply means you, where you want your independence, you don't finally get the solution, because the problem don't be defined as it is supposed to be defined by what? Every problem where human being create, I'm not God, it can be resolved by doing something. Not that one we did it, by doing something where they call a SWOT analysis. Okay. If you don't know, the reason that you're saying you're picking for school. If you don't know, the problem I say with strength for this environment, I beg you may understand, and now with sovereign state. If you want, if anybody lie that one, ask them what will happen for May 28, 2019 for Brussels. All of us, we did a 12 groups. Then we'll not be talk about ourselves. We'll not be talk about ourselves. We'll be there, these confused Ambazonian groups where they only like for promote their group. We'll go there, we agree, say wait. We agree, say sovereignty is our strength. Okay. You will go down for street for Ambazonia for some December 2016 for Coffee Revolution, say, long live Ambazonia. You will be referring to a Republic of Ambazonia. You will be there for street for Kumba or for Buyuka or for Kumbo. You say Ambazonia rising to fall no more. Where you be the sing with that peaceful plan for September 22nd. That Ambazonia be being a wetty Republic of Ambazonia. The world be interpreting like that. May you know that one. But what it happen, I say, you carry a matter, you delegate them for your leaders the way they get no interest for promote your best solution. Okay? They will already
not to interrupt you there, but I just want to try to cut this for our viewers so they understand. So the thing where the tongue I say, the leaders them, where they don't delegate the revolution them for abroad, they don't misrepresent the people. That is, they know they represent the people, their best interest. So therefore, your solution, I say, when they call them so, they may they do it, they talk to them, they move the leaders them, or say they do how? What do you want me to do?
No, Ambazonia, in a chapter leapfrog. We don't get any.
Okay, so leave them for day. So call abroad, right? Call abroad, and then
we need to create a new process, new leadership. Organically, we'll get people
so new process, new leadership. Yes. So when they call abroad, then they go talk, say, okay, we want join peaceful permanent solution. Then tell them, say, we want to find different leaders, then where they go be in favor of peaceful permanent solution. Is that what, now the action item, that way they want to make
the action, and it be important. And I know that one it be important because here's it. I don't dare for the thing long enough for no say. If then go call some leader A, he go no say, he go come, he go see, oh, if I do that one, it means say my position where I be taken for 2017, it don't wrong. Now, reason that way they should not them quiet. Why you think say they should not them quiet? The thing say you should not them quiet now because of waiting. I said they don't know say they be blunder. You think say they not be no say for go begin the promote various strategies where they don't backfire, you know wrong. They know, but they not ever come out now because we not get we a political culture where it hold them accountable. I don't chase them back to 1950s. I know what see them. We don't get them now because we look we leader them. We don't get cultish mentality towards leaders, and because the leaders that they run through an ethnic horizontal plan. So when that ethnic stovepipes day, it don't lock itself together. It they impermeable. Whether it's wrong or not, it's wrong. And like Gromby way there for trap. You know will come on. And the third one because good people then they out there where we never discover them. If we mandate now for serve with people in their best interest, then it becomes the leadership, their responsibility for find out among various strategies because the rule of the law is here. There will be various strategies. Nothing will be wrong for come promote their different strategy. But when we get a political system where it test them, when your strategy not meet the best interest, we not take them. We say no, we not take them. But Ambazonia did not get the culture like that. Now, when
okay, so what you ask you then, a follow-up then I say, peaceful permanent solution, it get that kind of way where we feed the test people their strategies them. It don't be established for peaceful permanent solution. Where, okay, let's say President Sako come tomorrow with their own strategy. We will get way for test time. Let's say President Marianta coming tomorrow. We will get way for test time. Or any AGOC, they bring their own. You will get way for test time. Key
The
question.
challenge and say peaceful permanent solution na strategy where don't be vetted.
Okay, all right, no
Yes,
problem.
you don't
Then we'll
really
go
be
on in the interest of time. We'll go on for other
yes,
questions. Then. So the
yes.
next thing now, the next thing now, I'll ask you now, say why we get for adopt the peaceful permanent solution? Why we get for adopt them? In brief, very brief, because of time.
We get to applaud them because we there in a revolution where it don't go adrift, and nobody no be in charge of it. The majority of the quote unquote leaders, then they don't adopt strategies where they say they want go fight. The fighting model, it not get enough power for illicit compliance from Cameroon, so they don't have for their throat, but they no fit admit them. They just shut down them quiet. Then what happened? I said during that time they shut down them quiet. The thing break down among their ranks, break down where the sociological theory be validate and say if you get a strategy where you not take control of it break down into you. If it explode, bite you. Now, reason that way inter-amber fight day. Now, reason that way hostage for ransom they take place. When people they say it will not be known, na lie, then a lie. We be supposed to know say if you take strategy where you know if you control all the variables where the whole year what they call outlier elements, because all revolution get outliers, all revolution get rogue elements. No revolution, no, there will not get a rogue element, but you supposed to control it, especially when you take the ultimate zero-sum change strategy where they call it war. People like say will not be no. We be supposed to know. And that way take them supposed to know. If you don't take them in no work, you're supposed to do what they call and restructure them so that mean anticipate them. Since 2018, they not do nothing. What happen, I say they instead stick their ground for their various group. Okay, if you take map, go for blackboard, you draw everybody, write their group, you put power equation, you know go see nobody no get no power enough for dent Cameroon, not of them. If you collect all that group, you really be honest for analyze their power, they don't get no power for dent La Republique. So now what kind of strategy be that one where you don't put misery for people? You want to make the palaver even worse. Now say we handlers we na foreigners we they be know about what matter. Sing things will be the talk with them. We be know with them. We meet with them. We in a Republic of Ambazonia. They warn me. They say, look, you don't win case for law. You get good argument, but you still never bring that united front. Nobody let's say Republic of Ambazonia not try. If we anybody will listen may go call SCNC, ask you what will be the letter that will be sent out for them for 1995. What will be the reply? We don't put that out there, we don't read that, we don't care. We supposed to have some of the United Ambazonian Revolution, they denied. 2009, 2001, they denied. 2009, they designed. 2013, even the SNC election for Washington, D.C., I managed to work with one of the chairman, they elect another chairman, he abandoned the process for 2013. It collapsed. So I the one bet people they made to understand, say, look, something there for life now say rules they exist. Rules there they guide relationship between human beings and relationship between human beings and objects. If we think say we'll get that exemption in a lie, it not gonna happen. One of the rules now say we'll be supposed to organize ourselves for figure out where we go get with best strategy, best. And what did that mean best? It means say among several strategies where they were there out there, one must be the best. And I will challenge everybody where they out there. The Republic of Ambazonia strategy, it be the most optimized strategy where it will bring power back to the Ambazonian revolution.
Right,
Why
I
I talk
beg,
that
if
one?
you describe that when our viewers they will listen also they will be very interested now. This strategy where they talk so now wait in brief, just explain what to be the strategy. What to be the
Republic
strategy.
Ambazonia
If it's
strategy.
different from PPS or now so new thing now when man never ever
No,
hear.
no, no,
What
no,
to be
no.
the thing now?
The PPS now the expression of Republic Ambazonia strategy.
Okay, okay.
The PPS now the expression of the sovereignty doctrine. Republic Ambazonia na your country. Now the country where they put them go say Ambazonia is to fall no more no. And you don't wait to put them talk for back home. They present what they want them. I don't take and go refine them. We don't take and refine them. Don't get people that say they will support we. The only thing we say, no, come with some degree of unity. They be tell me that one. They see beg with some more travel best. They know what to go on right now. They know everything will go on. So may nobody go lie.
So make I interrupt you again. So in short, you did tell that mami for Kwakwa, that mami for wede for Shisong, that mami wede for Kikaikelaki, that mami wede for Misaje, for Ako, for Mwa. So you tell them I say what we will need and now so na unity. I talk lie.
I know you talk lie now. The whole time I be the talk
so
unity, but that,
so I don't hear no.
wait back.
Comrade Edwin, they talk say wait we will need and now so na unity. Okay.
But you know what at one time, me know. That unity na unity where I no politicize them. I beg you. I no one come here about to say I be against unity. No. The unity way we need them, now the unity way at the very beginning. And that beginning in 1948, we'll be supposed to do them. I beg people to make them understand that we not go get exemption or it not go happen. Until we get a sovereign state, you will not politicize that unity of the sovereignty. No way. I can't talk say one get unity, then one go inside that unity. Somebody talk say I want Federal Republic of Cameroon, I want United Democratic Republic of Cameroon. I don't do this. Look, when we shit on for that place, so people don't look with so they'll say, "Chai, now which can be the one?" How we no feed look facts and call it facts. Unity, na say call your leader where he claims in a leader, ask he. Waiting resolution article 6B entitled we. If you simply entitled with self-government and independence, your next question I say ask you whether we will ever get self-government or independence. If you say if
for the next show, so that my viewers they know, so that they know they feel like say you just make up these things. So for the next show, I will beg say me you send this 76B so that when we talk so I go put them for screen. Then I go read them. And then I ask people say, we not see them. So that mean nobody say, would they make up things for yeah way in no day. So go ahead.
No, at the beggar, say me put a start question. You will contribute then to with due respect, we leaders. I get big man. I put out the worker. Some people they be wear 2 watches. I grew up for 1960. I see some man get 2 watches for a hand. Now so they will politics now policy of big manism. We'll get a Scottish politics. We'll get to stay away from that. If you read the history of we Toria, you will cry. But man not talk about history, man talk about what will happen now. You want unity, but then you carry what you call that thing? Come with my water. That Ambazonian revolution, that na motorway it need diesel. The specification I see diesel. I wanna know diesel now. Somebody carry petrol or somebody get gallon when na water put them. You take them, you pour them inside. You don't even check them you. So other one bring the oil for palm oil, you pour them. That motor engine don't knock. Ambazonian revolution, the engine don't knock. But the thing I say, we know say mechanics in their way, they feel repair engine way even knock. I tell you, they will move the parts. The peaceful permanent solution will do that one. You ask some very good question. Not be anything right. And one people that know say Republic of Ambazonia now this he project what to call an sovereignty. The peaceful permanent solution now the last point of that sovereignty doctrine. What would he talk on? What we don't talk on forever. And he just asked for 2 things. Recognize that we country what we call a Republic of Ambazonia where it be achieved by the dissolution of that federation where we be get in 1961 where not even be federation, or you grant us that exit equivalence to Brexit binary choice exclusive referendum. Now all that. And when we ask that question, so it not be that say we not get facts. We get facts for answer everything. And if we get the position, if we not join in those people's solution, Cameroon no will go around now begin to talk, say, hey, Republic of Cameroon is one and indivisible. The Nike chase. Then the youth will only leaders and for go promote the fact that will be one Cameroon indivisible. Because the whole way they know the true story that was look their book say, child. There not be nothing something like that happen. How did it even happen? They not hear this story now because we never talk am. We be only succeed now for win and for court of law. And we now, we Republic of Ambazonia, thing finished for 2006. We beg SCNC say we join together, they deny gang. They deny.
So I want here, I just want to clear some point for it. So thing where the talk now say, Republic of Ambazonia, we don't win this thing on the legal court, the court of law. The thing we want, and then I say, me go from being something we be on the court of law to the court of public opinion. You want to me get out now to the public. We any do the rank and file, Ambazonians, the media here say we don't already be free. Just say maybe we don't know.
You don't put that. Okay. Well, Master, you put that so fine. I bet me put them understand say information take on the way it flops so they will fit from now to the 2027. You want to read someone day where you will cry. Okay, but that Torina say the world way they watch will matter. They will watch how they will announce whoever win the election. But you should not even hear the thing why the bother me and say Ambazonian leaders they should on, including one way they fight for ground zero. They fold their hands now, they look the way made they announce election. And when they wait,
don't get some acronym for this. Also, Atanganji don't come some way for it describe them. It describe and say a match between Cotton Sport and Real Madrid. So they watch match between Cotton Sport and Real Madrid. Now what way will lead us did it do? But continue. Now you be the master.
Over funny now because wait bad now the one say you know, say people that want for solve a problem. People that they out there, and that people that no be Ambazonian, no be Cameroonians. They not like this palaver way we don't get over 1.5 million of people internally displaced. They not like the potential of chaos exploding to the extent where we fear say if it be a second Rwanda genocide, if this fighting way will happen for post-election declaration start boil. I don't want all those things. I beg may not happen. Because you know when it happened, the Ambazonian them, that English speaking Amba fool them, where they call the Anglo fool. Now we go receive the worst end of it. And the people that the thing say, they can't do this or do that. I pray say may happen, but when you pray say happen, you the one that say, okay, may the people the misery finish because I know some people then the misery for harm finish. But the question what I want to ask and say that misery is supposed to finish peacefully and permanently. Now listen that way you I beg you assist us more make this misery finish one time now. When that misery finish, now how it go finish? It go finish it or go the call for autonomy. You think say autonomy will solve a problem? You think say 10 state federation will solve a problem? You think say decentralization will solve a problem? Not except absolute 100% severance from that region. We will not get nothing to do with these French people. It's our right. Not be a compromise. There's nothing to compromise there, absolutely. Not that one. If you think say I think for some of your leaders go negotiate, then fire that leader. Because we become to form a union. But it not exists. I beg you understand that one. So if they don't know their history, fire those leaders away. They will go for negotiate outside the constitutional framework. The only constitution where we need for reference now the fact say we be negotiate to create a constitution where it be supposed to be through a confederation. It won't even happen, and negotiation will be the call of plebiscite treaty. Case closed. Then the question where we will need made the answer now say, who side that federation go? We know say it don't be cancelled by an of parliament called restoration law. It there for books. Then what? You recall a country, Republic of Cameroon, then you turn around, deny we own country called Ambazonia. When they ask Cameroon, say, why you do that one? You never help yourself because now we Ambaful, now we Ambazonian, they call it Anglophiles, we like for rush ahead of ourselves, go the self Cameroon interest by denying for express our sovereignty rights through this peaceful permanent solution strategy. So my appeal for you, the listener, say, I beg. You go start now by understanding, say you at that level where you did it, you feel become an agent of change. You don't need any man where you don't go for book or you don't stay for this thing for 30 years or more. No. If you there for some place, gather yourself together in that one a group, whether in a country house or a Njagi house or a sorority or a Aweti, you feel form some group and say Ambazonians, the way that they play soccer, they don't endorse the peaceful permanent solution. If you know one time, you feel call somebody ask say, now which kind of group I go form and for my township for if you're there for Melbourne, Australia, they'll tell you, okay, you can form Ambazonians in Melbourne, Australia for the defense of freedom. You form that one. You endorse the peaceful permanent solution of the Dynamic Alliance. Then you endorse and you join Dynamic Alliance. Do that one. The international community, they see how this thing they expand, then they get more reason for now convene that extended strategy where they don't already promote them for other parts of the world. Nothing so we not follow them. You know, say the exclusive referendum now, they promote them for parts of the world, like for Mindanao, Bangsarono problem in Philippines. The Mindanao them, we will not know that one. The Aceh people for Indonesia, the Bougainville people for Papua New Guinea. So what did they, and of course, we know what will happen for the European Union where Brexit vote happen now. Whatever the case, you think say would you don't call an exclusive referendum? Would you use the word exit and say we no want them? Would you use exit deliberately for invoke the context of Maastricht Treaty, which has the principle of what they call a ratification? Maastricht Treaty get the principle of ratification just as the plebiscite treaty we get the principle of ratification. So we be comfortable wherever we be. If Cameroon can say, oh, they intervene in the internal affairs of the country, now lie. The Republic of Cameroon be one and indivisible. They don't get nothing to do with Republic of Ambazonia. The only reason why they don't do with territory now because we acquiesce, we know the talk. But that era of moonness don't. So we beg you and they beg you. Stop delegating matters of life and death for politicians the way they know to represent your best
in the interest of time, we will talk more. So one thing what you hear me summarize and the era of mumuness, the era of acquiescence is over. All right. So you mentioned some things, a leapfrogging strategy. Leapfrogging, like frog where they jump. So leapfrogging strategy. What did that one mean in brief? Because of time, in brief. What did leapfrogging strategy?
Now, for make people that made know the delegate matters to what we call and quote unquote crooked politicians. Which politicians them way they don't fail. They absolutely don't fail. If I look, I will resign if I fail for a position where I take them in principle and it can't fail and hurt my people. I'm going to give a historic reference. I'll be there before I join Republic Ambazonia. By default of my friendship, I'll be part of what they call Cameroon Federalist Society. But I last there only 3 months. And it will be around 1990. I'll be that same time from Gojindinka, which is my leader, and the person where it bring me to understand, say, that we can work with facts. He be there for the same meeting where Albert Monk in blessed memory be there, and some professor will come also university for I don't forget them. We'll be there for some meeting for Silver Spring, Takuma Park. So me, I come out and say they're all there together now. I woke up, my friend called me, can't go meet up me, we'll join, we can drive, go New York for some adventure for United Nations. And they come back at the end of Federation, federalism talk where Mukon the talk. I don't understand. I've been no say I've been independent. I'm just saying they work together. I don't know say all of them will be separate agents. They'll be there for that platform, for the podium, but they'll be talk independently. They will be separate. They'll not be correlated. Now later on, I'll be no say so. So I express and say, but wait, why would he talk federation? Because Mukan will be a federalist. Okay. But I tell them later on, say, look, if not so, they are not going to continue. So I tender my resignation. Okay. So I resign. I resigned from Cameroon Federalist Committee I think in 1990. The document go there somewhere in my account or something. But the talk say if we get politicians the way they get principles in this our current Ambazonian recognition quest, they adopt strategies where they don't hurt the people. And I'll name the 3. Maybe I know that one. This thing they call and say school boycott. That thing they call and say Monday ghost town. The other one they call and say lockdown. My experience say those strategies, they don't get no correlation with guerrilla warfare. They don't get no strategy with eliciting power to a revolution. Now, what do they call them? Power depleting strategy. Okay, if you want to tell me something, I'll ask you something. If you deprive your Peking may not go school, now what will be the benefit? Okay, and also in Galway, it doesn't way it will be 6 years of 2016. where you go probably 14 years old now or more. If that guy never go school, he on them back. Okay? Your papa will not go Monday, he not work for Monday. You think say economic activities they stay in vacuum? Now, the laws of economic theory it go be exempted from Ambazonia. No, the gravity pull of all the economic resources anticipated was they don't gravitate to where? To Francophone land. I know some Anglophone will go make a great school for Bafusam. Okay. And I know Francophones, they don't create English schools for take money for people. The worst one, that one with the talk say lockdown. You know, so when we talk lockdown, you make the kind of area denial. Lockdown is a military strategy where the first way they impose that, it don't recognize the power. So it go impose that on the victim, be it assurance. But you know if you do it as a weak person, because then the other guy will reverse them for you. Wait till anytime lockdown day, Cameroon use that one for enhanced martial law. If you just talk, say, you could just send on Telegram, say, to prove my case, any human being where they see the range for a certain territorial area for lockdown, shoot them. Whether the person want to go for peace or want to go for the Australian say Amber, they get it right because now lockdown. So the bottom line, I say, look, when we commit such terrible strategies where they not get nothing to do with fighting, not mental acquiring power, and then we tend to applaud the people the way they put them. I don't know whether we revolution be so much infiltrated by like big agents or just be stupid. No, but maybe when Ambazonian people know say one thing don't be certain. The mistakes the way that it be happen for we from 1960s, 50s, it be happen because we not be get leaders that stand for the best option for Ambazonia. The few, Paul Kale, Chief Achimbi, Manga Williams, Chief Stephens, and Augustine Joa will come to find out there be stand at the later end of 1959, 60, but then still not be get that unity as we supposed to get them. So knowing that fact, when we plead with you for support the peaceful permanent solution, we provide you evidence of how we don't acquire 30% power they require. It therefore Budon Baga. If somebody get 30% of something, you know if you bet with you go bet with person where they can't speculate, say may go fight. Then when you ask to say go fight, if you go fund me, go raise money. You look at some joke they take place, so yeah, but they want to be think for joke. We don't lose kingdom where we're not supposed to lose up. On earth can we accept this tragedy for people? So I beg you, take up it as your responsibility, say, a superior strategy where it will bring back power if it don't be already before this 2017 exists. We should not be start for 2017. And not be because Edwin Gang is the advocate for Ambazonia. I just happen to work with one of the best brains for Ambazonia. Now, because it be part of every society obligation. Say, picking the people where they get knowledge according to the Socrates principle, you get an obligation for use that knowledge to effect positive change, not anything else. But how can we in this universe called Southern Cameroon, aka Republic of Ambazonia, do not have that? What's wrong with we? Why every successive generation we cannot collectively band together the people where they don't go learn the book PhDs, where they feel say, okay, let's reflect on why we came to be in this mess. Why on earth are we a recolonized people, even though we be being self-government and independence will be achieved? Why? That question never be answered, but now I turn now for answer that question. You get simple chat GPT for Google and Ghana, but not only for end there. The beggar say, we'll move one step forward, leapfrog over that nonsense of delegating matters of life and death to the same leaders and way they caused this problem. Now, the reason that it happened for 1960, you know, Laukamisha become for principally plebiscite. Guess what will happen? Punch and endly they deny. They talk, it come on go. Then you want go. Cameroon society where now
draw attention for the audience, me they hear that one. Fine. So you talk say, even after they be don't vote for that plebiscite, say they want join Cameroon. Dag Hammerjock, they can notice say that plebiscite, he get problem. He called Foncha and Endele say, me wanna cancel this thing. Try work together, form a unity government, fight the thing. Me will not get the plebiscite. Then maybe when I figure be independent as it's supposed to be. Now so you talk right, or I get that wrong?
No, not before. See, the plebiscite will be spelled out from 1959, but it will get a long lead for being established, either for 1960 or 1961. They will give some long time.
Okay.
But if we go realize a child now which can belong the 40 people EBC say no go work a fine for we. So after you don't go inaugurate in Ahijo, the next day fly Cambodia. He thinks he go get Funch and Endele being the big man say I beg when I form unity government give me man I go cancel that plebiscite where it be supposed to take place between 1961 April and 1960 April and February and it became 1 year span for being taken. So it finally established for February 11, 1961. Well, now that meeting, getting no consensus. If don't he gives the specification, Funch just stick on the ground. And they stick on their own position. What they be supposed to do now say they be supposed to say, okay, look, this one is a serious thing. Maybe we'll form unitary government, KNC. At that time, it will be CPNC and KNDP. Then they think now who will govern. I don't know. Now who will be prime minister? Since Funch will be the prime minister, if I talk say, okay, you will be the assistant, I'll be prime minister, but we will call an early election. What they do for other countries? You call an early election the next year, so that we will then start afresh. But at that time, when I don't get our independence. But what I want to talk now the reason why it get worse on we. Even when he send letter for United Kingdom, he required the fact say this plebiscite not be needed. May United Kingdom cease us for cancel that thing.
Not to interrupt you again, you get these letters, then people never believe in when they talk. You get these letters.
Well, the communication then they in what do you call it, a private matter.
Yes.
Now for finance, we'll find
yes,
we'll find
because people never believe this kind of exclusive details. They will say you just make this thing up.
Yes.
So we need to see the letters then.
Yes.
People want to see these letters. Go ahead.
Private research, yes. So the Cameroon society where it be created, I think they did it over 12 people, but about 4 or 5 now what we call them francophone the way they don't come with area can't settle where they did it. And they be big people, doctor, they get name, and more importantly, they get money. We will get one people than they will. Anglophone then they be did it. But all which they be doing a pre-reunification. I try to scratch my head to figure out why. Now later when Cameroon society will write them, send them for the conference where they call them for Frontier them made them come from London for about which could be their position for plebiscite, whether they want it or not. If they get some conference in 1960 for May, after you don't come also, some conference take place for May. Guess what happened at that conference? Now way Chief Bali go there, the lie say they talk say and the levy make it be boy, and then the big fight for days, so they don't even get consensus. Then that one will be hear some stories. Say front of say, oh, when you want to get independence, he say, well, give me some time. I think 10 years. It happens say they no be get consensus because they be write letter clearly stating their preference for reunification. Now that one be important. The Cameroon Society letter will be sent to the United Kingdom, United Nations, all bodies. So they say, the people they don't finish, so they abandon we. And that's that case closed. It be important to know that because we interest never ever be served. We best interest now waiting. May Ambazonia and the know say the peaceful permanent solution, which is the what you call the vanguard of the sovereignty, where you be supposed to get that. Now, the way for express the sovereignty, it never be expressed in our political history. So if you join this peaceful permanent solution, what would beg me to join them by simply endorsing with this dynamic alliance to implement the people's energy program, you do something where it never be done. Why? Because that thing why they tell for 1960, it never happened. We end up for go vote for a reunification, for a political culture where you don't get a concept of sovereignty. Now, the reason why they not even negotiate that plebiscite, because they not even know say they be a sovereign state. I want people to understand, say, we cannot correct this problem of our past by still doing the same, by taking things as easy as it is, by not being interested in following the rules as we be supposed to follow, by engaging in the ease of politicking rather than in the rigor of strictly obeying the rules. Some of these rules will mean we will go against some of our friends or with relatives, so be it. Because this thing don't come to matters of life and death. People they don't die back at home because of wrong decisions, the way people they make them for 2017 or that fight when always in Nigeria been asked me and say we will show some degree, say we don't be united.
Okay.
People where they understand the
on that
sovereignty.
note, them I ask then the because of time, we want them to keep and maybe short. So what projections do you have for the Ambazonian revolution with or without the PPS adopted? Last question.
Well, I'll be very optimistic if we start engage the PPS. And by engaging the PPS simply means that we start endorsing it, the level where we get groups, play the groups and then now. Country House will never reach out. Sorority, alumni, may they start endorse the peaceful permanent solution. I tell you, sir, in 6 months' time, we can start a countdown to independence. Be so optimistic. I'll be optimistic because this will be the way it go detonate the powers where we don't always get a latent in the Amazon revolution. I say 6% power day, but this percent power where we go get that, we don't win the battle of the minds of being unapologetic Ambazonians. 60 plus 30 now it's 90. Tell me how Cameroon will acquire weight. What one fight? We don't get some power who win Cameroon in less than 3 weeks. No really guarantee that one. No. For do this lele politics, we would do on JJ, groupism, surrogacy, big manism, and sticking on your group. I might tell you something. I'll only give one example. Not that 2017 will be start this grand expectation, say independence will come for October. Now, what's our day today?
I remember my trip to Boya. Everybody remembers the whole my trip to Boya, right? The millions that was collected by whoever saying he was president and he was promising to take us to Boya. Yes. Go ahead. I'm just giving one example.
I don't want to say that same kind of model, you multiply them, we don't waste 8 years, okay, of people's lives. Now, this time in a dangerous strategy where it kill people and it don't cause misery back at home where people then they like the drowning man and they're close to anything, to Sepa, and even that they're close to Chiroma. They right. Just want something.
That is right, exactly.
So what's going to go happen? It will take 34 years for them to accept the basic concepts here we need for be the distinctive political culture for inculcate our own sense of nationalism. So we can never get nationalism when we use Cameroonian identity. We cannot. It's somebody is wrong color analogy. Oh, South Korea, North Korea. Oh, South Sudan, North Korea. And they say that is not analogical thinking. Not work for we. The Cameroonian nationalism can never be induced by our revolution because it be negative. It means a negative nationalism. So the reason that we're smart guys for 1966, like Chief Ewusi for Boya Mountain Club, they become with this bright idea saying, hey, Massa, this thing never work out. That time we be the prime minister, they make coup d'etat put for Boya, so they make put Solomon Tandemuna. They say no, we must do something. Now the concept of Ambazonian identity come. Chief got Ndinka as the titular head of state of the Ambazonia, the authentic one, of course, some fake one they out there. So the idea, now you put them in book, now you put them as Republic of Ambazonia on the premise of the constitutional dissolution. The man as smartest lawyer will get them. He used the opportunity where God give him for we, he take user. Unfortunately, he never been supported. Then in 1984, as till today, because if he be supported, why have people come out instead of rallying around the Republic of Ambazonia and hailing him the leader when we bring out a bright idea all alone, they instead go the form different versions of it to they create a non-constitutionally viable entity. Why that important? I thought because Ambazonians, they take things too simple. They think that foreign governments will support an illegal enterprise. No. Foreign governments, foreign entities, they don't like to be seen as working with illegal entities. Worse, one way it will cause them harm. But if we stick with the constitutionally originated and legally validated sovereign entity, we will call on Ambazonia, where a titular leader and a fungal say don't hold. Don't worry about it. We don't go far. We'll not forget this war. We don't get recognition. Cameroon for be told to get away. Next time I will explain to people, say, as recent as 2008 and 9, an illegal legal activity will be created by United Nations in the Nigerian Cameroon Mixed Boundary Commission for invent an entity called Federal Republic of Cameroon. Now, not only because they will go resurrect Federal Republic of Cameroon, where they will be able to get the maps when the Bakassi conflict be concluded, there be need for cartographically redraw the maps. But Republic of Cameroon map they be drawn, you know the average of Bakassi. Somebody scratch here and say, now hi that. They ask and then say, Republic of Cameroon was never part of Bakassi until they invent Federal Republic of Cameroon. But the question we suppose for us, and one of the greatest tools where we in the peaceful administration get and say, under the principle of territoriality, which United Kingdom House of Lords already put out there, and I say, countries should obey their boundaries, their times of independence. If the Republic of Cameroon will be independent, separate from us, why on earth they insist that they must be part of us? The only reason why the one don't exist today, we die out of it now. Why? You ask this question. Ask any of the leaders where you don't present the argument whether they be define Cameroon properly. No. The peaceful permanent solution will define Cameroon politically, geographically, sociologically, culturally, as peacefully as it's supposed to be defined at any time, to the extent that even Francophones will be happy now, so finally they will get a country where it will be able to be a way for invest more time now for settle with and install their democracy. Because we know that as long as we deal with Cameroon, they don't ever get democracy installed. Now, in fact, they know. But the day where we will create Republic Ambazonia, and we need for start tomorrow, we will help that region become peaceful, and the prosperity will lift everybody in boat. It will happen. Let's remember, say the war not the wait for stupidity for rain. Now, really, the European Union, it be the most greatest manifestation, say, confederation will be created from functional sovereign states. Now, the way to go. And the reason that way, we will be the poster child for Pan-Africanism. Will be Pan-Africanism. Go make a mistakenly with this brother in the East and he'll kill me. We're supposed to be supported by everybody in the world, including the African states, because we now will become the functional sovereign state we will be supposed to be. And we at that juncture will lead Pan-Africanism on a functional basis as how European Union don't be thriving. Look, more non-cost experiment where the cost we have at the beg you, but the ask always come back to the Ambazonian people. I bet. No, she don't fold their hand. They cry, they pray, say, may God come, create somebody where go. No, it will happen now. We get to look among ourselves for define the truth that will set us free, and it starts there with you.
The truth, like Bible, they talk the truth and only the truth will set you free. So thank you so much. In the interest of time, we'll stop them for now. We'll continue again. We'll get other episodes then. So thank you. So I will end them now at this juncture. Thank you so much.